got a real sweetness and a real charm and a real ease about him, but you also look into those eyes and see this is a man you do not want to mess with because he will stop your clock.
Can you talk a little bit about Patrick Swayze? Because you did some amazing work with him on Roadhouse.
Well, you know what? Going one-on-one with Patrick, you know, him coming from another dancing background and so forth. So I especially, we just had a good time. We just, you know, I looked at him, I watched how he moved. He moved like a cat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so and he was really getting frustrated because when I was showing him certain moves and this and that, and he kept on saying, I'm a dancer, I should know this like that. Yeah. And I thought about it for after the first week. I said, you know, so I got some music and I put some music on and I started doing certain techniques with him with music. And then I went to his home and I put on some music. I said, follow me. And so I started showing him technique with a beat and a rhythm. He picked it up like that.
We started putting it to music. All of a sudden, it started getting very cool, and a real grace started coming into this fighting style.
Oh, wow.
Just like that. And next you know it, one thing led to another, and there was nothing I could not do with him because I found how he was receiving information to the rhythm of his body. Mm-hmm. I would do technique to the rhythm, and he had no problem with it whatsoever.
He actually wanted me to start competing, wanted me to go on the kickboxing circuit.
He actually compete with any pros. He is that good.
How long were you training him a day? Like, how long were your sessions?
There is no long. It is what it is.
You guys were done when you were done on a specific day, basically.
When he had enough, he had enough. In other words, you can only teach somebody so much mentally.
Sure.
And before they start getting confused and mixed up because it's too much information at one time. And when you give somebody too much information, they're sending it to their body, and their body either takes it on or it gets frustrated, okay? And it starts to get tight, and next you know it. This is 80% of it is mental.
I really do believe in this peaceful warrior concept, yet I'm very clear that we have to be trained in order to protect our world.
20% of it is physical. 99.9% of the rest of that is emotional, which is what everybody hides. Anger, fear, frustration, anxiety, they all hide it until you're threatened. And either you're threatened physically, all this emotion comes up, or you're threatened mentally, because you don't want to look bad and this and that.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Or you're threatened, I mean, you know, there's different ways that when I look at somebody and they feel threatened, I get a chance to grab them and if you want to call hypnotize, so be it, but refocus on how they're looking at it, because you can see that they're starting to get too deep in their head. And my job was to get them out of their way. Mm-hmm. Because when they're in their way, they're contemplating their head and they're this and that, and their body looks robotic. It doesn't look real. So I have to get them out of their, you know, out of their head and out of their way, so they take on that character naturally.
As far as Patrick Swayze, I heard that this, like, rumors out there. Did he end up breaking his rib when he was fighting that guy near the end, the guy that he ripped the throat out? Did he break his rib during that fight?
Marshall T.
Yeah, Marshall T. He's a great martial artist.
Yes, he is. He was a very powerful black belt. I forgot the style that he was in, but very powerful. And I really didn't have to teach him much. He was just, man, he was a good martial art, a good black belt already.
Sure.
You know, martial artist as it was.
Been in martial arts, you know, since I was a kid. I used to be a deputy sheriff, and I was in the Navy, and I trained all the time anyway.
But no doubt about it, they did. They went. And
we just went, you know, and just tried to design it to be the scariest, most beautifully vicious fight sequence anybody had ever seen.
And I see, my job was to make it safe, make sure that they're safe, that they don't end up. But I'll tell you what, Charlie Paterni did a great job as a stunt coordinator. He made, we were both watching to a point where that he was making sure that, because again, Patrick gets hurt, the movie stops.
Oh, sure.
It costs money. So our job was to try to keep them safe. Breaking his rib is one thing, but you know, a bone bruise hurts worse than a broken rib.
Really?
Yes, it hurts
Wow. I
worse.
mean, you would know being in all those fights, of course, but wow.
That's for sure. But I'd rather have my rib broken than bruised
Interesting.
because it's hard to breathe when it's bruised.
You would think it would heal quicker, though. You would think a broken rib.
A,
No.
bro- a broken rib heals faster than a bone bruise.
Wow. Hey guys, for more of Benny the Jet Urquidez, make sure to click here to find out more about his philosophy and his martial arts style, Yakitakon. And if you really want to get something interesting, click this one where he talks about how he fought in the real Kumite.